I set out to find out what dyslexia is all about. What I talk about in this video is how I see my brain working. Maybe you think the same way and have a few unanswered questions too. Here's a little background so you'll know where I'm coming from. I'm 39 years old and I have had dyslexia all my life. School was 13 years of misery. I loathed school. I barely made it through. I didn't understand how it is possible to write without making any grammatical mistakes. Later on in life, I found out that I have what is called dyslexia. I wanted to know more. They say how to deal with it. I haven't heard anyone say why or where it comes from. That is what I wanted to know. Why do I think like that? I have 39 years of 24/7 first-hand experience of being dyslexic. That adds up to over 300,000 hours. I decided to explore my brain. This is what I have found out so far. I'll elaborate with this example to give you some idea what is going on in the dyslexic's brain. When you see an object, then the light reflects from it and travels to your eye, goes to the pupil, lens, eye liquid, and onto the retina. From there to the optical nerve and onto the brain. By this time you know how far the object is and whether it's moving or not, since you know how much you have to change the eyes and lenses shape in order to have the object in focus. Notice that already there is more than just the retina involved in seeing. The brain will detect shapes, sizes, colors, the environment, the relation between all these and much more that you don't realize at the moment, and will assemble the puzzle pieces the eye sends to the brain. When you have enough information, the brain will tell you what you're dealing with. And if you have information from previous times, then the brain will deduct it's a car, the make, model, year, engine size, four-wheel drive. And likely, the car can tell you quite a bit about the driver. That last bit has nothing to do with seeing, but with you. The kinds of deductions you make about the driver are based on the previous life. To have the complete picture, you need to have enough information to fill in the blanks. And if you don't, the brain will just generate it. That is why you can't see the blind spot in your eye. The brain fills it with info it picks up around it. This gives you a framework for what is going on in a dyslexic's brain. How do you perceive a person that you've never seen before? You have some info that ties to the car. You've seen these kinds of cars on the street, how they are driven, and who drives like that. You adjust the info to the current situation and make deductions. That's how the brain works. It fills out the necessary blanks for you to know what the social company you have around you and how you should conduct yourself. You couldn't leave a first impression if the brain wouldn't have a place to store it in. It's also called prejudice. Nothing wrong with it, just don't make any rash decisions. You can also create these blanks for information to store in and fill them with the info you think is right. And if you don't, then someone else can do it for you. That is what brainwashing is all about. Back to the car. You saw the shape, size, color, their locations. You connect the dots. It's a car. Since you saw the original source, it's difficult to make a mistake. It's a car. Now, when you have to describe what you saw to someone else, it's a different story. It's quite difficult to do with the other making some conclusions that you didn't intend. The other person might have a different information processing order. When you start describing with size, the listener might want to hear the color first. Some will want to know, did it have tinted windows? Or what kind of rims did it have? Or that little badge that says it was that special edition car. When you tell them that it had that special edition badge, they will fill all the necessary blanks with the info they had collected previously, and they'll know exactly what car it was. These people whose brain works like dyslexia think like that special edition badge person. Difference is that they fill in the blanks in every area of their lives, and not only with the info they had previously. Sometimes. Well, most of the times, they'll generate the info needed to have the full picture. It is automatic and in many cases uncontrollable. It depends a great deal on current emotions, how much pressure one has, life circumstances, what you've eaten, what's one's intellectual capacity, how tired you are, and on what is the state of other senses, especially the nervous system and the digestive tract. Talk about the gut feeling. But largely on what you think the input could be, and your opinion in this case matters. People think in this manner, but dyslexians fly in another dimension. What they think will actually override what is coming in from the sensors. This system allows them to make deductions and connections, what seem a bit unorthodox since a lot of steps are skipped. They reach the end result faster. When you have real info to work with, or small pool of info to make deductions from, then most likely you reach the wrong conclusion. But when you find out that you made the wrong conclusion, you'll make the next one, next one, next one, until you reach the correct one. This all happens at lightning speed, and you don't get stuck at the first outcome. But you might on what you think is correct. With verbal communication, it isn't a big deal. But in written text, it proposes a substantial obstacle. When you read the first letter of a word, and automatically, uncontrollably, deduct the whole word, and move on to the next one, and the same thing repeats. And you deduct what the whole sentence is about. Not read, but deduct. You make some more deductions about the writer, characters in the book, and soon enough, you know what the whole book is about, before you have made it to the end of the first paragraph. It happens so fast, it seems uncontrollable, and you might not make the correct deductions. That is what dyslexia is all about. Deducting information from a small bit of input to fill in the blanks. That happens faster than the info coming in from the sensors, and the subconscious mind does not make a difference whether it's true or not. The detecting and deducting continues until the blanks are filled, and you have the entire picture, true or not. Now, you can continue to the next assignment with this info. Can you see where it gets all messed up? It's a part of you, your family, your life, your worries, your joys, your pains, your victories. It is complicated to manage, but feeding it is simple. You need enough resources, and you can turn it to your advantage. You can make the correct deduction the first time. You just need a bigger information pool to work with. You need to expand your knowledge base. In these situations, I tell myself, there's something wrong with this. What is actually there? Let's look what is actually coming in from the eyes. Back to the car. Your brain puts bits and pieces together and declares that he has finished analysis and take notice, it's a car. Who needs how much info differs from person to person? Some more, some less. When the brain finishes processing and concludes that it's a car, it does what I call a confirmation round. It has enough information to make a conclusion. Some need to see all the car's details. Some the special edition badge. To some, the car has to say it's a car before they can conclude that they're dealing with a car. You don't need always all the details. The brain fills out the missing blanks. In case this process is too intrusive, then the person can see things that aren't there. When you know why your brain shows these things, it takes the edge off. With dyslexia, it isn't always a question about seeing things that aren't there. The principle, you know what I mean, gets transferred to spelling, but only the writer knows what has been written. When you read, you may see letters that aren't there. It is important to take notice why you see or don't see that given piece of information. Information from the deduction process is sent to the confirmation round, and not the info from the eyes. This example is about seeing, but the principle applies to other senses as well. To make the brain's life easier, there's a phantom in the brain that is connected to our body. The brain moves a phantom, and the phantom contracts and extends our muscles. That way, the brain doesn't have to move all our muscles one by one to move us. The phantom also gives feedback to the brain. We know it delivers pain to the brain. It tells the brain where it hurts. When someone has lost a part of their body, and for some reason, the phantom still has their part, and the phantom thinks the part should need some scratching. You can't, since it isn't there, and it itches. Sometimes the missing part is in pain, and there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. That's called phantom pain. In other words, phantom feedback. The brain sends info to the phantom, and the phantom gives feedback. Can the phantom give feedback on other senses besides pain? Phantom letters, phantom sounds, phantom touches, phantom emotions. How does empathy fit in? Does the brain tell the phantom to feel what other person is feeling? So this is how you can feel what other people are feeling? Or is there more than one phantom in the brain? How is your personality and the phantom connected? When a person speaks different languages, they have a different personality for each language. How do split personalities work? The voice you hear when you think, is it the phantom? How can dreams have a taste? And why is it sweet? They don't happen in your mouth. Does the phantom have a digestive tract? And does the phantom control the tract, or vice versa? Can the phantom lose weight? If our body or brain need to heal, does our phantom also need to heal? Can we speed up how fast our phantom heals? How does the placebo effect work? Are psychosomatic disorders placebo effect in reverse? Does sensing of the world depend on the state of our body, phantom, and brain? What information bypasses, what is processed, and what is generated by the phantom? What about autopilot? Have you ended up in your office while your kid's still in the back seat and not in school? How far can the optimization and delegating of tasks go? How are the phantom and the subconscious mind connected? Are they the same thing? Are illusions created for or by the phantom? Can you change or reprogram the phantom? Has the brain created the phantom, or is it there from the beginning? Is limited sensing of the body a limited connection between the body and the phantom, or brain and the phantom, or both? How are the blanks filled? Can it be changed? Does it need to be changed? How does meditation fit in? What does it do to the phantom? Why does the brain accept generated information from the phantom as real? Can it tell the difference? Does it want to tell the difference? How much does the phantom distort our memories so they'd be more to our liking? How about the present or the future? Is the phantom where our desires and inner thoughts come from? Who gets tired? Your body or the phantom? In order to conquer your body, do you have to conquer your phantom? Is changing a hard, long, difficult process because the phantom thinks it should be that way? What about addictions? Is your body or the phantom addicted? How can you lose the shackles and become free? If the phantom is a tool for the brain, does the phantom have tools too? And if the phantom reports to the brain, then who does the brain report to? Who's calling the shots? Who takes responsibility? Who decides what we should say, eat, and do? The phantom is there to make our lives easier, but it can take over our lives if we aren't careful. My opinion is, dyslexia happens because for those brains that are wired up like that, it is easier to generate the information than process the info coming in from the sensors. You know the positive sensation that comes with finding a solution to a problem? That's how it's fixed. Sometimes I get the positive sensation a few seconds before the solution comes to my mind. Take time to listen to your brain. You have been created for a special purpose. Don't let other people's opinions guide your life. Think and dream. Your brain is your most important tool. Use it as it is intended to achieve what you have been created for. No one else can fulfill that purpose. Don't let difficult situations go by without them developing you. Things that once were difficult are now easy. Like sitting up, for instance. Finish what you have started. Your starting point might be lousy, but the glory at the finish line will be. Know that you are not running alone. To you who have dyslexia, it can be an advantage. You have to master it. You need to push yourselves constantly. Nobody else can. There is more to dyslexia than just spelling. You need to make a few right connections in the brain. And when you figure out how you made them, then don't stop. Continue. Keep improving yourself. And you'll discover something new every day. And find a friend who thinks like a dyslexic and build something together. That will be one of the most satisfying things you'll ever encounter. To you who do not have dyslexia, give them a break every now and then. It can be tough. But they need to push themselves. Be encouraged and bear the responsibility that has been given unto you.